Good evening. This is The Point of View. We are live on City TV this and every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Here on The Point of View, we get the right guest. We ask them the relevant questions, and we always come with some useful insights. It's live and interactive on Facebook at City TVGH and also on Twitter, #PointOfView. It's interactive, so you can send your comments to the WhatsApp number that will be put in on the screen shortly. And the big story in Ghana tonight is that JDM is back for 2020. We're speaking to one of his closest aides and a minister of communication within his government. When we come back, I'll tell you more about my plan for the evening. Stay with us. So welcome back. This is The Point of View. Tonight we're going to try and understand how the NDC thinks. It was a shellacking of a victory. So JDM, John Mahama, he really took his 6 other contenders to the cleaners. He got over 95% of votes from almost 300,000 delegates. How did he do that? We'll speak to Omane Boamah, who is the Minister for Communication, or was Minister for Communication under John Mahama. And he's also a key member of the strategy team for the man as part of his campaign. We will also make a quick detour to Nigeria because as we are speaking, the Electoral Commission of Nigeria is receiving results from the 36 returning officers. A really interesting spectacle as various vice chancellors from various universities who are returning officers for the various states are announcing their results. We've been told there are about a dozen results out. We'll be crossing over to Nigeria during this program to find out the latest, whether Buhari will retain his seat or whether Atiku will take over. All of that and more on the show tonight. We'll also be reading your comments. So if you have any questions about Mahama, the man, Mahama, the mandate, and Mahama, the message, I'm sure Dr. Omane Boamah knows more than most what to think. But let me start with who Mr. John Dramani Mahama is. So who is the man? Very interesting facts we found out about JDM before this interview. So he's a man of threes. Very interesting coincidences of threes with John Dramani Mahama. He was incidentally born in Damango, which is now the capital of Savannah region. This is 1958. It's also interesting to know that he is the first Ghanaian president born after independence. In fact, he's the only Ghanaian president we have born after independence. That should say something. His father was E.A. Mahama, who was a farmer and a politician and a statesman. He was the first commissioner for the Northern region. And John Dramani Mahama himself attended school partly in Achimota and partly in Tamale. He graduated from the University of Ghana in 1981 with a degree in history, so he's a historian. He also has his postgraduate diploma from communications from Legon in 86. And he studied in Moscow, of all places, the ISS in Moscow. This is 1988, so you can check him out. Good-looking Mahama at the time. He also worked at the Embassy of Japan, and you can see Paul Adomachi and Yampo Frankra interviewing JDM. This was in the 90s. Now, on his political journey, there are a series of threes. So he was he's been MP for 3 consecutive terms. So between 97 to 2001, 2001 to 2005, 2005 to 2009. That's the first 3. He was the 3rd person to be named running mate by President Mills. So first was Martin Amidu, and then it went to Mohamed Mumuni, and then it came to JDM. And this will be his 3rd presidential election. Will he be 3rd time lucky? We will find out soon enough. There are a few more interesting things we found out about Mahama. He was appointed Deputy Communication Minister in 1997. He was 39 years old. He was promoted to Substantive Communication Minister in 98. Don't forget, he was born in 58. So he was 40 years old. And at the time, the communication portfolio had also under it information. So as 40 years old, he was a cabinet minister. Quite impressive. And then, of course, he became president in 2012 when President Mills unfortunately died. And he lost in 2016 election to Akufo-Addo. He got 44%. Again, the dubious honor of being the first sitting president to lose an election. And a lot of his opponents say he has a over 1 million gap to catch up on. There's a few more things we found about Mahama we'll share with you later on during the interview. But let me welcome Dr. Omane Boamah Doc, great to see you.
Good to see you, Bernard, and a very long time.
Yes.
I just prefer to be referred to as former communication
minister. What do former ministers do when they are not in office?
It depends on what your skill sets are and what you also want to do. So this is a very broad question.
Yes. But you're a doctor.
Yes.
So are you practicing?
Even in government, I used to practice occasionally.
Really?
Yes.
Even in government?
Yes, even in government, I used to practice occasionally.
With all the heat of political office, you still have time to put the stethoscope on?
Occasionally. I mean, as a doctor, you never stop practicing. Just that it will not be like the one who is on the beat.
So this will be private practice?
Through, of course.
So what kind of doctor are you? Are you a general physician? Are you a family doctor? Are you
yes, I'm a general physician.
Okay.
But I've also specialized in health policy.
A lot of people don't know this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need. I mean, there are some who even think that the title is an honorary.
Honorary doctor?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
but you prefer politics to medicine?
I prefer both.
Really?
And let me share with you why I decided to accept the opportunity to serve President Mills's government. You can imagine in the life of a medical doctor, doctors work very hard and very odd hours. Sometimes you may even go beyond 24 hours continuous. But after doing that for several years, you may end up not treating the number of people that one good policy will affect positively, or one bad policy will affect negatively. And so when the opportunity came for me to serve under President Mills, I weighed the options. At the time, I remember I was preparing to work on certain things, Visfatin, Aplin, and their relationships with type 2 diabetes, because at that time I was pursuing medical physiology.
Oh, right.
So it was a bit of a difficult decision, but in the end I said that after...
This is 2009?
2009.
I see.
Yes, young man.
So you're in your 30s?
So, at that time I was 34.
34 years old?
Yes.
Were you the youngest of his substantive ministers?
No, Samuel Kudjoto was the youngest.
Oh, there were younger ones?
My younger brother. So I weighed it and I said, look,
wow,
policy-wise you can affect many lives. And it became very clear. I'll cite two examples. One has to do with when one of the players in the hydrocarbon industry spilled low toxicity oil-based mud. At that time, we were going through the stages of first oil. And so I was made to chair the committee that probed that oil spillage. And if you look at what spilling heavy metals, because the LTOBM, that is the mud, has...
Now you're going deep now.
And all those
things. You're going very deep into this.
So you are thinking of how the plants and animals in the sea will absorb the heavy metals, and then the higher organisms, like the bigger fishes, are also going to be consuming the smaller ones.
So this was as Deputy Environment Minister.
As Deputy Environment
so you are applying your science in that ministry as a 34-year-old. Let's move to politics.
And so you are looking at how through biomagnification these things can also enter into the human system and begin to affect you. So this was a case of applying your medical knowledge in a scientific field. Yes. As a politician. Yes. And that really helped in ensuring the environmental sanity that we have in the hydrocarbon industry now. Because people know that Ghana will not joke. I see. If you offend the environmental laws and the conditions. Okay. Let's talk about what happened on Saturday. And let me give you a quick background. So in early 2017, there were a couple of stories flying around. I just put one up on Ghana Web, which says, I will not contest 2020 Mahama. And false. First couple of paragraphs. President Mahama seems to have put a stone in the works of those clamoring for him to be flag bearer for 2020. Speaking to a group of close associates, the president said while he is humbled, he has decided not to consider putting himself up for election 2020. This is Ghana. Then there's also a graphic story False.
that week about
False.
about his family saying he wouldn't run again?
False.
He didn't speak to anybody about this?
False. Completely.
Absolute fabrications?
Absolute fabrication. False.
He had never made any comment. What about his family members?
I do not. We all have.
Because the graphic story
members.
quoted his family members saying that Mahama is not going to run anymore.
Who did they quote?
They said a family source. This is Daily Graphic front page. We are communicating, Mr. Graphic is a strong paper.
Oh, please. But we all make mistakes.
So as far as you know, he had never made a decision about his...
He had never made that decision. Rather, what you can glean from what he has said, and even on Friday, when he spoke to one of your sister stations, he made it known that at a point he contemplated the comfort of life out of politics as opposed to the hustle and bustle of our politics and everything, but never. And so that is why as you pull these stories, you will never find a direct
quote saying he wouldn't do. But it means it was not a straightforward decision. He did think about not doing it.
I mean, definitely. If you also listen to him after he had submitted his nominations and he spoke at the trade fair, he went at great lengths to indicate how the process was, the thoughts and everything, and the fact that he eventually made the decision to run. And if you look at it, he speaks about the broad consultations and the wrong direction in which Ghana is traversing, and that the broader consensus was about he reconsidering a run for the presidency of this country.
So he had to speak to people on the ground to convince himself that it was worth doing.
Yes, and in fact, what is even more interesting is the fact that he also said if the thoughts of the people who said no had surpassed that of the overwhelming majority who said yes, he would not have. And if you recall, I think Professor Yanka was one of those who publicly said he should not...
Kojo Yanka,
yes,
founder of AUCC, former minister under...
consider contesting. But if you also
that there were people
realize,
within the people he consulted, whom he respected, who didn't think it was a good idea.
From what he said, and if you are to listen to someone like Kojo Yanka, not that he consulted him, he was expressing an opinion. But if you are also to look at the many people who had gone to him, even including all the regional chairmen of our party, and from what he says also, the business community, people who really are feeling the excruciating economic and financial pain that we are all going through under this current dispensation, and the kind of encouragement that they offered. It was very clear all these went into his decision.
In the story that you said was not true, they quote two people who say even if Mahama says he wouldn't run, we will force him to contest. They quote Neil and Van der Poy from an interview on Star FM.
Exactly.
And then they quote Kofi Adams. Why did people in the party think that he had to run?
I think that he did a very good job. I mean, no system is perfect. But sometimes hindsight offers opportunity for reflection. And so if you are to look at the alternative, which is in action now, and you are to assess the difficulties that we are going through, the economic hardships, the economic pain, where the cedi is right now with respect to the dollar, the impact on traders, importers, the kind of situation in which even their flagship project, which is the free SHS that they are implementing, is also going through. And I'm referring to the double track system. Parents are now telling us that, look, we are even paying more than we used to pay when the free SHS was at the level of a progressively free SHS. And what do they mean?
We will come to the issues around the economy and the message for 2020, which I know you want to get to. But I just want to still understand the thinking of the NDC in building up to that. So just pardon me whilst I just run through this. So he consults and people ask him to go. Some people feel one of the reasons he was implored by the rank and file to go was that there was no viable person. There's no successor. For example, I mean, and if you look at, they are saying that if there were somebody who they thought was viable enough to lead the party, he wouldn't have had to come back. So he was forced to come back by the party because the party hadn't prepared any successor.
No. That cannot be the case. I mean, look at even the 6 worthy men who contested.
But look at what they got.
No. What they had is not a function of their abilities.
It's a function of what?
Okay, that is 1. 2, also look at even those who did not contest. Will you say that Right Honorable Speaker Doa Jaho could not have run for president?
But is he interested?
No. So I'm just mentioning possibilities. Will you say Professor Kwesi Botwe could not have run for president?
After Kufuor, MPP at 17.
Will you say Dr. Kwabena Dufour could not have run for president?
With all his problems with his bank? Has he said he's interested? Has Kwesi Botwe flatly denied?
No. You are saying that NDC doesn't have...
Willing and able.
Willing and able. The most important thing is that we have the men. And I'm listing them. You've not been
all the men you've mentioned have not said they are willing.
But
Kwesi Botwe's name was rumored. It was flatly denied. Dufour, we have never known if he's interested. You mentioned Doa Jaho. He's never come out to say if he's interested.
Does it matter? You are shifting the fulcrum now. You are going to willing and able. But you said it's because we do not have...
The Bible says if you are willing and able, you eat the good of the land.
No. It doesn't mean that anybody who is...
Isaiah chapter 1 verse 8 to 9.
It doesn't mean anyone who is willing and able must go for a particular thing. It depends.
So you're saying Kwesi Botwe, Kwabena Dufour, Doa Jaho are all...
Doa Jaho, I mean, Professor Kwame Nahoy is... I mean, will you say Professor Kwame Nahoy is...
All these people you are mentioning are older than Mahama.
Professor Nana Jopukwajiman, if you want to play the female card, Nano Yelita, Mareta Burapia Opon...
Are they interested?
Hanasewa Tete.
He's working for the UN now.
Does it?
Are they interested?
No. So the point is that we have a plethora and a galaxy of stars.
None of these stars contested.
Some of them step forward. And I've mentioned...
Like who?
The 6 of them who step forward. Dr. Ekos Pugabra.
He got 0.65%.
You see, that should tell you that the party is unanimously behind former President Mahama. It doesn't in any way take away the strength of any of the candidates who contested. It doesn't in any way. The fact that you contest an election and you are unsuccessful doesn't mean you are not worthy to be a president. In the US, look at a candidate like John Edwards. He became John Kerry's running mate.
Yeah.
John Kerry had tried on some occasions, but he never got a nod. He's a fantastic guy. Look at someone like Joe Biden. He tried it even in 2007, 2008 with the Obama squad, but he pulled out early. Will you ever say that Joe Biden...
But at least they offered themselves for vice. Most of the people you are mentioning have never offered themselves for anything. And the ones who offered themselves... I want to show the infographic of the results.
May his soul also rest in peace.
I want you to pay attention to this number that we are looking at.
No,
this is 95.2. I'm sure when they finalize it will be more. Because this is what we got around.
So this shows that among all these worthy men,
delegates didn't think them.
President Mahama stands very, very tall. And that is why Ghanaians must be happy and must be confident that President Mahama is coming back to right the wrongs and to restore this nation in the right direction.
Interesting.
It doesn't in any way take something away from the pedigrees of these noble gentlemen who contested him. They may not have read the delegates well, and perhaps they shouldn't even have contested at all. But I must say that I enjoyed the contest.
But was it a contest?
Was
it a contest?
Oh, my brother.
6 people got less than 5%, which means that on average they got less than 1% each.
Proud to
if you did a 95% margin of error, President Mahama got 100%.
Yes. Proud to the contest.
Yeah.
You hosted some of the contestants.
Yes.
Did you believe it was not going to be a contest?
It sounded like they were very serious.
Very good. And I trust your intelligence. And I trust your intelligence.
What message did Mahama's campaign give for the delegates to so overwhelmingly vote for him?
It's in 2 ways. President Mahama has indicated over the period that he consulted broadly. And so through this consultation, he definitely couched a message that resonated. And what was it? He's talking about modernizing the party. He's talking about capacity building for the teeming youth of the party. He's talking about opportunities for the party. He's talking about putting in place a database, a proper database that can even help you to identify the people, where they are, their expertise, so that even when the opportunities become available, they will be able to distribute the opportunity equitably to all of them. And also, he also looked at the national situation and gave hope to the people that the difficulties that you are going through, these difficulties
will be resolved.
Speaking
of margin of error and election results, this is the point of view. My guest is Dr. Omane Boamah, who is a former Minister for Communication. We are trying to understand the thinking of the NDC, the overwhelming victory of former President Mahama, and what the message will be for 2020. But we are taking a quick detour to Nigeria, because as we speak, they are still collating results, and their results are coming out in trickles. I'm going to cross over to Lagos to speak to the news editor of Pulse Nigeria, Jude Egbas, to tell us how the counting is going and a quick look at who's winning. So, Mr. Jude Egbas, good evening. Thank you for joining us on CTTV here in Ghana.
Yes.
Jude.
I'm glad to be with you at this time, yeah.
How many states have been declared so far, and who's winning?
So far, 9 states have been declared, and all of them, most of the states are in favor of the incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari. So, Buhari is currently leading his opponent, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, by about 800,000 or so votes. Yeah.
How many states have been declared?
To you, Buhari of the APC is leading.
How many states have been declared so far, and which states are these?
The states that have been declared so far are the FCT, the Capital Territory, Abuja. Abia has been declared. Atiku won in Abia State. Buhari won in Nasarawa. He won in Nasarawa.
Who won Kogi State? We understand Kogi State. Kogi State, has Kogi State been declared?
Buhari won Kogi State. He won Kwara State of the Senate President, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. Buhari won. He also won. I think he also won Gombe. Atiku won. So I'm not looking at the list now because I have to move from my laptop. Because of the noise in that area.
So let's go.
I don't have the results in front of me.
Okay.
Atiku won in Oyo State, in Ondo State. Buhari won in Lagos State, Ekiti State, and Osun State. Yeah, so these are some of the states I can give you off the top of my head for now. But Buhari is in a clear lead at this time, even though only 9 states out of 36 have been declared so far, including the federal capital city of Abuja.
So based on the states declared, quite a number of the states are in the southwest, which we were told were going to be swing states. Based on those states, would you say Buhari is going to win the election, or is still too early?
Yes, at this time, at this point in time, there are so many other states that have not been declared, like the listeners will have known by now. They have already seen, even though those results are not official, that means they have not been declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, which is still collecting the results as we speak. States like Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, which are like swing states in Nigeria. And from what we have seen, those states are also going to go to Buhari. So it will take a miracle to answer your question for Atiku Abubakar of the PDP to win the election at this time. It looks like at the end of both coalition, President Muhammadu Buhari would have won a second term in office when the coalition is done. So it looks like a clear win for Buhari at the end of the day.
What is the PDP saying? We had a report that they would reject the results of the election.
Yeah, the PDP has already rejected the results. According to them, the results being churned out, the results being released now, being made public now, is different from what they have. So they think that the vote has been manipulated in favor of the governing APC. So they have made it clear that they are no longer interested in the results that have been declared by the Electoral Commission. So the PDP has totally rejected the result, calling it a manipulation.
Thank you very much, Jude Egbas, for talking to us. Jude is the news editor at Pulse Nigeria, and he's painting an interesting picture that from the states that have been declared, it looks like Buhari would retain the presidency, and the APC, we are told, is in the lead. Only 11 or so states have been declared. This is the point of view. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we still have Dr. Omane Boamah. We're trying to understand the mind of the NDC. We are trying to see what JM2020 would mean for the 2020 election. This is a former president who's going to be running, most likely against Nana Akufo-Addo. What's the message that is going to put across to Ghanaians? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
You're tuned into Breakfast Daily on City TV.
You're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag Breakfast Daily.
Nigerians are putting their film on Netflix now. There's DSTV, there's mobile phones, there's all sorts of apps that you can actually put your phone. So distribution is not just going to the cinemas to preview or to premiere the movie. We wear all our gowns and all that, and then that's all. There are lots of channels that we don't know, and we've limited ourselves to just Ghana.
Join us for Breakfast Daily, only on City TV. Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10.
Welcome back. This is The Point of View. My guest, Dr. Omane Boamah, former Minister for Communication. We are talking about Mahama or JM2020, the man, the mandate, the mission. Here are a few of your quick comments. Mauko Atisu says, watching live from K2 South Aplau, the only constituency that gave Mahama 1797 votes. JM's our next president 2021. This is Tikuzemi Shaka says, you and your team are always right on time. Good job. Agbolosu Mensa Solomon says, Ghana can't wait to have JM back as president. We love you with all that is within us. So anyway, it seemed to me as if a lot of the constituencies were trying to outdo each other with 98%, 99%. We interviewed a few of the MPs.
Yeah.
So, Ashama, we've delivered 96%. Ablaka, we have 99%. What was that about?
You see, like we have said, this is a man who is loved by his people, his party, and even after he was unsuccessful in 2016, people still continued to ask that he reconsiders coming back into active politics. There were even times that during the campaign you saw women carrying stones and all that, and some of them also carrying lantern, just to say that even if it is in the day and you say you are not contesting, we are going to use the lantern to search for you. And so I think that the party has demonstrated that there is unanimity when it comes to our support for His Excellency John Mahama. And in that unanimity also, you saw the competition, that everybody wanted to show that, look, we love President Mahama and we love the party and we want the party to win the next election. And because of that, we are even doing more than is expected.
But it was always going to be an unfair competition because he's a former president. He has a president appoints over 5,000 people in various positions. He already has a machine working for him. He's already popular. So some could say that could not be a real test of the man against other men. Because it's a man in a machine.
David defeated Goliath.
Yeah, but that's in the Bible once. That's why it's a story. Most of the time, Goliath wins.
David defeated Goliath. So nothing can be taken away from the resounding and overwhelming victory. The NDC has sent a clear signal that we are solidly behind President Mahama and that we are very, very appalled by the state of affairs. We think that Ghana is moving in the wrong direction and we need to change course.
If you look at the outcome of the 2016 election, the number of votes that Mahama got versus Akufo-Addo, there's over 1 million gap. This election was 2.5 years ago. What makes you think that the over 1 million people who voted against Mahama will change their mind within the period of the next election?
Okay, first, do you think that if this primaries had been done in, let's say, January 2017 or March 2017, President Mahama would have gathered the kind of overwhelming support that he has gathered? Maybe yes.
We don't know.
Maybe no. That is one. Two, let's not take away the lofty promises that the MPP pushed out during the 2016 campaign. And the campaign of lies. And I have some tapes on YouTube and all referring to the lies of the MPP.
Lies in the campaign.
And we cautioned Ghanaians against it. They said President Mahama had spent $10 million to print presidential diaries. I'm sure you remember. They said the Kaswa interchange project was over-bloated. We responded to it. I even remember President Mahama himself saying that they had turned themselves into political quantity surveyors. They said the Kwame Nkrumah interchange had also been over-bloated. They said the Rate Hospital was also an over-bloated project. Not even audit reports will stop them from saying it. We counted it and counted it and counted it.
But people didn't believe you.
Yet,
so does that mean, so is that a question of the gullibility of Ghanaians or your lack of credibility with Ghanaians? Because if you're saying that those things were false and yet Ghanaians believed it, what's going on there?
You see, it is not a question of gullibility or our credibility. It is a negative tactic learned from Goebbels, who worked under Adolf Hitler. And that is not the kind of politics.
But you are the people who have a propaganda secretary. They don't even
that is
a secretary for propaganda.
But
they don't.
But propaganda is about, to us, it's about propagating the good news. It is different if we didn't counter all these. You will not take away the fact that gentlemen, as they were, they told all these lies.
But you had machinery of state. Usually the government of the day gets preferential treatment in state media.
And I'm suggesting to you, and there is evidence, I even have one of the tapes here, and it's on YouTube, that we catalog these. I'm suggesting also to you
had a green book
that President Mahama even labeled some of these untoward behavior of theirs as they being political quantity surveyors and all. They also came up with lofty promises. Bernard, you saw the map of Ghana, which had every district, and they were pointing to the kind of factories that they were going to establish. And also recall...
But it's a 4-year mandate.
Also recall...
And they've launched some of the factories.
I'm explaining something to you. Also recall that at the time, they said they were going to build factories in every district.
Yeah.
They didn't say they were going to build it together with the private sector, but in their manifesto, they inserted that in there. We pointed that out, but I want to ask you a question.
But does it matter whether it's built in private sector or not?
I'm drawing your attention to something. When did they launch their manifesto? It was very close to the election. At that time, they had already inserted in the minds of Ghanaians that their government was going to provide one district for one factory for every district. My brother, can you imagine being in a district or in a constituency where they say that every year you are going to receive $1 million?
You seem to suggest that Ghanaians can't differentiate between somebody lying and promising them the moon versus their own.
I will not.
Because
I will not.
Don't forget.
I will not. I will not.
Forget
I will not. I will not.
I'm coming.
Belittle.
Don't forget that in 1999-2000, one of Kufuor's main messages, which has become a mantra of politicians, is which I'm sure as CJA you also endorsed in your campaigns, Bernard, leading to Mills's victory.
Bernard, you are extending. I'll still stay where I am.
So I'm coming. If you're saying that MPP were telling lies, which you counted but people didn't believe, MPP made lofty promises, some of which were found not to be true. My point is, are you not suggesting that people vote on more of the basis of what is said by politicians than on the basis of what they feel? That is a value judgment that you are making. No, I'm asking you a question. I will not make that. No, you are a social scientist too. Do people in your analysis? That is. I'm coming. If you go and campaign, do people vote based on what they feel or what people tell them? That is a value judgment. No, it's a question. I will not make that value judgment. I'm only enumerating the lies, and I have said a lot of them. I'm also now on the lofty and unattainable promises. But I'm saying that you are in a district or constituency, and they say that every year they'll provide you with $1 million. In today's terms, it's about 5.4 million Ghana cedis. Yeah. Every year. It's very juicy. It sounds good to the ear. We caution against it. Have they delivered on that? And so we are back to the question that you asked. Are Ghanaians going to see President Akufo-Addo as a man with credibility that they should trust? I don't think so. You think you think Ghanaians, on the basis of the two examples you've given, or some of the examples you've given, and even more. Okay, but what if somebody says to you, he promised he'll build new regions, he's delivered. He promised he'll do free SHS, he's done it. Are you sure he's done free SHS? He's done free SHS. Even to the level that he said he was going to do it. No, they didn't level free SHS. He's done free SHS. Or are you doubting free SHS? Listen, I won't doubt free SHS. How can we, the midwives of free SHS, doubt it? The midwives of free SHS? Yes, it's a constitutional imperative. That is one. It's in the constitution. But it was a campaign promise. Listen, and he delivered on a promise. No, you could have promised, he didn't. Wait. That is one. The second thing is that we commenced the implementation of progressively free SHS. And over 300,000
students benefited. In our case, we ran it from first year, second year, and third year.
But they've added 174,000 more who may not have gotten to school had it not been for free SHS.
Simultaneously, the numbers also are beginning to drop, and even now they are beginning to introduce other limitations in there. I'm saying that we ran it for the first year, the second year, and the third year.
But you didn't call it free SHS.
They came in, we called it progressive free SHS because we are honest.
No, Ghanaians prefer free SHS.
There must be, so you see, you are having free SHS, yet your child comes home in December, and your child is still at home, and that child goes to Presec or any other school for extra classes, and you are paying far more.
Have we assessed that? Have we assessed the cost of that?
Yes.
Scientifically to prove it?
Yes. Between December and now, and we pay for some others.
So let me get you straight.
Between December
are you saying
and
that
now,
the message of, because don't forget the topic for today is JM2020, and we are trying to understand what the message will be to Ghanaians to give him another chance at the presidency.
Yes.
I'm coming. I'm framing the question. So my point is, let's not forget that. So what is JM's message to the larger Ghanaians? His message to NDC has been accepted. He's won.
Very good.
What is his, or what will, if the message has not been crafted yet? Has the message been crafted already?
At this stage, he has completed a campaign, and you know that we go through processes to come up with a manifesto, policy positions, and all. Several thought processes have already taken place, but it will be premature even to take the wind out of his sails. Expect that, and as he has indicated, we need to restore credibility to the presidency. You cannot have a presidency that basically lies to the people. You cannot have a candidate that makes lofty promises, knowing very well that those promises were never going to be achieved. And I'm very happy that you are not making the mistake of others who think that promises and messages are not going to count going into
so he's going
2020.
So he's going to also promise.
He will definitely make promises, but his promises will be credible. The promises of the NDC will be promises that will be delivered, and not the kind of promises that we saw. One village, one dam. We said, what kind of dam? Are you talking about the ponds that are in the northern part of the country? And they are delivering.
You are still going back to what MPP did. I was hoping that you were going to talk about what Mahama offers. But I feel I
can suggest one to you.
No, I'll take
because
a break.
He has already said it.
I'll take a short break and come back.
I can suggest
we are trying to gauge what JM, as is affectionately called, is going to offer Ghanaians in his third time. Don't forget, in 2012 he won. 2016 he lost. He's coming back in 2020. What is JM offering Ghanaians? How is he going to recapture some regions? For example, the central region, which he lost massively. How is he going to bring that region back? We'll do a few more of analysis. If you have comments, put them to us on our WhatsApp number. Don't go away.
The conversations that help you shape your spiritual journey as a Christian. Find the answers you seek. Catch the 700 Club with Pat Robertson every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on City TV. Analysis of the most exciting football league in the world. Don't miss the stats, the news, and the debate. Get expert opinions on who makes the Fantasy League Premier League team of the week. It's the Premier League Preview Show.
You cannot in a lifetime compare the players in Pep's team last season to that of what Mourinho had in his first season. Jose Mourinho's squad of 2004-2005 were miles ahead of Pep Guardiola's
How
team.
so?
The Premier League Preview Show every Friday at 3 p.m. only on City TV.
Welcome back to The Point of View. We are trying to understand the mandate and the mission. So the mandate was clear, 95% for JDM. The 6 others got below 5%. We've spoken a bit about the man. This will be his 3rd attempt at the presidency. He won in his first attempt in 2012. Indeed, he became president without an election. This was when Professor Mills died. And in 2016, he lost. So it was a serious swing. We are trying to understand from Dr. Omane Boamah what will reverse the trend. There are lots of articles analyzing why the NDC lost the election. There's one written by a gentleman called Isaac Che Ando. And he gives a plethora of reasons. He speaks about the style of the campaign. He speaks about the team around the man. He speaks about the subtle digs and sarcasm that characterize some of the campaign. He spoke about access to JDM. But one of the things he spoke about I want you to connect with is, he says in 2016, of the 72 universities with polling stations, the NDC lost in 69 and won only 3. Let me repeat. In 2016, of the 72 universities with polling stations, the NDC lost in 69 and won only 3. Then he says this is clear indication that the party is losing the appeal of the parties. This is a clear indication that the party is losing appeal of the more enlightened. This is his analysis. I'm not paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing him. 69 out of 72 university polling stations. I haven't confirmed this independently, but I'm sure you will know whether this is true or not.
I haven't also confirmed it independently. Why?
So, did you win Legon?
I wouldn't know.
The polling stations are Legon.
You don't expect me to have...
Oh, but you were the Minister for Communication. You were part of the campaign team. Which universities did you win?
Unfortunately, I was not part of the campaign team.
You're not part of the campaign team?
But let me also indicate to you clearly that elections are about the future.
So,
elections...
You can't analyze the past?
You can analyze the past, but elections are about the future. If you are going to look at the past is only going to serve as a guide. But if you are going to be imprisoned by the past,
but
then
if this,
you are not going to...
If this is true, if this is true, JDM was a younger candidate to Akufo-Addo.
Because of the ifs.
He was the one who was the one that they thought had more youthful appeal.
Bernard, because of the ifs and all that, why do we want to be conjecturing? It is better. So the
NDC has not. So you, as the communication firm, have not analyzed the results of 2016. So looking at the areas you did well.
The analysis has been done, but you definitely are not going to have all these numbers crunched.
Really?
That number of polling stations. I mean, there are, for Christ's sake, there are about 30,000 polling stations in the country. You understand? And I'm saying that elections are about the future. And this is one of the fallacies that some people are imprisoning themselves in. That because A followed B in the past, it means that B will always follow A. It doesn't work that way.
But the little polling station analysis we did will show you that in urbanized estates, for example, I will take Accra constituencies. When you take an estate, gated estate, then people will typically win. If you take a rural community, typically in Accra, I'm just using Greater Accra, then NDC will typically do better. Are you saying that as a party, you didn't have that analysis?
Can I suggest something to you? In 2012, President Mahama won in the barracks. Are these not urbanized communities? But in 2000,
so it means you did some analysis.
I'm coming.
That's good.
But in 2000,
but you don't have the 2016 analysis.
No. But in 2016,
yes,
he lost in the barracks. And that is why I'm saying that if you confine yourself, if you classify yourself in the past and forget about the fundamental thinking that elections are about the future, you are going to make mistakes. NDC in 2012 won in the barracks. NDC in 2008 won in the barracks. But in 2016, it changed. So what should make anyone think that because 2016 was unfavorable in the barracks, it stands to reason that in 2020, it is going to be the same. It is not going to be the same. And we believe that the reason why it is not going to be the same are hinged on two main issues. One has to do with the abysmal performance of the current administration, the lofty promises, and the second one has to do with the credible and pragmatic programs that we are going to put in place. And like I was referring
that
to
you are
President
going
Mahama,
to put in place.
President Mahama.
So are you saying that the election will not be a comparison of records between
Bernard, I'll get there.
Is doing and what you did?
I'll get there. President Mahama has already said, because I don't want to go ahead of him, he has already said that he will reverse the double track system. He has already...
But not the free SHS.
But he started progressively free SHS. So how is he going to reverse free SHS? But he says that he will reverse...
But the debate was about quality versus free SHS. And I remember you said that, your party said that if they did free SHS, quality would dip. And you are focused on quality education.
Bernard,
so how is it
you are
founder?
turning the arguments on their heads. We spoke about quality, access, and affordability. These three things.
Yeah.
But I will proceed. So he has said that he will reverse the double track system. There is no way that the NDC...
Yeah. But the NPP said double track is a 5-year system. It's not a temporary system. It's not a permanent system.
The NPP...
They say it's a 5-year system maximum.
The NPP has said that this double track system even gives better exposure time. Have you heard that?
Yes, but I've also heard them say it's a temporary system.
No. Yes. Why will you want to change a system that gives better exposure time?
Gap.
I'm coming. They are saying that the double track system offers better exposure. Okay, in terms of time. So if it is true, why would they be changing it in the next 5 years?
Because it's a stopgap measure.
Why will you make something that you claim is better? It offers a better exposure to the students. Why will you change it? You understand? And that is why he has said that he is not going to wait till the next 5 years. He will take steps ASAP to end the double track system. He has stated that.
Immediately.
As soon as possible. And his proposal has been to complete the abandoned community day senior high schools. And he has even urged this government that, look, don't wait till I come into office. Complete them and absorb the students. Because, but for the community day senior high schools, you may even have been having maybe a triple track system or whatever. Because each of them is accommodating about 1,000 to 1,200 students. So he said, complete them. So that has been said. Again, in terms of sustainable jobs, he has also hinted at that. And then the banking sector, he has said that he will not have gone about it the way they went about it.
Let me make a quick announcement. So tonight's show is going to continue. We are live on Facebook as well. And although we would go off air from the point of view at 10, we are going to continue on Facebook. So if you're watching us on Facebook, this show is going to continue for a bit because we haven't gone through the full interview. So please stay with us. Of course, if you're watching on television, then you would have to migrate to social media for the rest of the program. My guest is Dr. Omane Boamah. We have your messages to read as well. We are trying to picture what JM offers for 2020, having won the primary so resoundingly. So please stay with us on Facebook. And if you see that we are off the television, it's not because the program has ended. So let me ask you a few direct questions, Doc, if you don't mind.
So just to summarize, I am restricting myself to what he has said.
That he will,
and so
message
that
will be.
He will reverse.
But what new thing? What new thing
Bernard,
is he bringing?
That he will reverse the double track system.
Yes.
He will ensure the creation of sustainable jobs. He has hinted at that, and also the restoration of honesty, truth, decency in our body politic.
So let me find out from you.
And he has also indicated that access to healthcare must be prioritized. And that is why he keeps on indicating that, look, you cannot have these hospitals that we spend so much money to build, to rot. It took a one-man demonstrator to get the University of Ghana Medical Center to be used even partially. The Bank Hospital, the Maritime Hospital, and several other hospitals that he put in place. You think that if all these hospitals were functioning at full capacity, we wouldn't have been able to employ several thousands of nurses who are looking for jobs? And that was his strategy. That, look, we are going to complete these hospitals, and when we complete them, we would have to employ several thousands of nurses, in addition to the about 8,000 that had already been employed under his watch.
We want to say thank you to our viewers on television. This is still The Point of View. The program continues on Facebook. We have Omane Boamah. We are discussing JM2020, trying to look at what new thing he offers following his victory at the primaries. Please stay with us on Facebook, and good night for those of you who are watching us on normal television. So Doc, I'm trying...